What if I told you the Stanley Cup's first great road trip happened in 1896, long before charter flights, television, or even helmets? One game, one rink, and a goal that helped shape hockey history forever. In the winter of 1896, hockey was still young, raw, and fiercely local. The Stanley Cup itself was only a few years old, and until then, every challenge game had been played in Montreal. But that year, history packed its bags and headed west, to Winnipeg, Manitoba. For the first time ever, the Stanley Cup would be decided outside of Montreal. The defending champions, the Montreal Victorias, accepted a challenge from the Winnipeg Victorias, one of the strongest teams in the young sport. The game was scheduled for February 14, 1896, at the Granite Rink in Winnipeg, a packed indoor arena buzzing with anticipation. This wasn't just another match. It was a test of whether the Stanley Cup truly belonged to all of hockey or just to Montreal. From the opening face-off, it was clear this would be no ordinary game. The ice was rough, the rules were simpler, and substitutions were rare. Players stayed on the ice for nearly the entire game, relying on grit instead of gear. Both teams traded goals in a fast, physical battle. The Winnipeg crowd roared as their Victorias matched Montreal goal for goal. Every shot mattered. Every mistake could cost the cup. By the third period, the game was tied. Tension filled the rink. Then came Ernie McLeod. Playing for Montreal, McLeod delivered a performance that would echo through hockey history. He scored 3 goals in the game, something no player had ever done before in Stanley Cup competition. That night, without knowing it, Ernie McLeod recorded the first hat trick in Stanley Cup history. No hats rained onto the ice yet, but history had been made. As the clock wound down, Montreal struck once more. The Victorias from Montreal edged ahead 6-5 in a thrilling, heart-stopping finish. When the final whistle blew, the Montreal Victorias remained Stanley Cup champions. But the cup itself had changed forever. This game proved that the Stanley Cup wasn't just a local prize. It was a national trophy, capable of traveling, challenging, and growing the game across Canada. It set the precedent for road games, challenge matches, and eventually the continent-wide competition we know today. One rink, one goal, one historic night in Winnipeg. So the next time you see the Stanley Cup lifted high above the ice, remember this: its journey beyond Montreal began in 1896 at the Granite Rink, thanks to a 6-5 battle. A fearless road trip and the first hat trick in Stanley Cup history. That's where hockey's biggest tradition truly went national.